Hi, I'm Amy Hannon, and nothing thrills me more than people and food. I'm a preacher's wife, a mom of 3, and I own my own specialty kitchen store. I've kept an open door and a well-stocked fridge, which means I have fed a lot of mouths over the years. So welcome to my kitchen. This is Cooking Today. Hi, welcome back to my kitchen today. We have a big football game coming up that I feel pretty sure lots of y'all are going to be watching. I know that we will. And today I thought it would be a really fun idea to show you a couple of some of our very favorite appetizers that you could actually either eat at home while you're watching at home, or you could actually take it to a friend's house or a watch party or to your family's house. And these are really, really delicious. We don't just eat these for watch parties. We'll eat this on just about any given day. And one of our very, very favorite things is this beef and cheese dip. We love this. It is so good with crackers, and it's really good with toasted bread. You can just take a French loaf and cut it up into pieces or pull it into parts and put it in the oven and toast it just a little bit. And we're going to serve ours with crackers today for the sake of time, because I'm actually going to try to make 4 things for you today. So let's get started. This is our creamy beef and cheddar delicious, delicious dip. And all it starts with is a block of cream cheese. And I know that a lot of people are dieting right now, so you are welcome to lighten these up. You could do I would probably not do the fat-free because it doesn't seem to bake down as well, but you could do the third less fat if you would like. And we're just going to put this cream cheese in this bowl, and it's already room temperature, so you want to be sure that it is stirrable, because if it's too cold, you know as well as I do that that block is going to stay a block and it will not stir. So we have a block of room temperature cream cheese and some sour cream, just about 4 ounces. This is 16 ounces, so I'm just going to do a little bit of that. And that just kind of adds to the smoothness and the creaminess of it. And then I'm just going to let this sit a second and stir. And I usually take the back of my spoon just to kind of mash that cream cheese. Whatever you do, this is something super important. Try not to stick your cream cheese in the microwave where it gets really weird and kind of runny. And, you know, the consistency gets really interesting, doesn't it? And then sometimes you've gone too far and there's no going back on your cream cheese. So try to give it a few minutes, probably a half hour or so on your countertop to get it just about right. And I'm just going to kind of mush this and set this aside. Now, I generally start the show with my cutting board right here, but I actually wanted to show you all a really great tip. So I'm going to get this cutting board that I always use. It's one of my very favorites because it's so lightweight and it goes in the dishwasher. These are Unimays. And all I'm going to do is get a paper towel, run a little water on it, and squeeze it. Because if I am going to use this cutting board on my glossy counter, it slides around on me. But if you put a damp paper towel underneath it, it'll stay in place. So you have a nice, secure, firm spot to work. Look. Isn't that great? You'll love that. Then when you're finished, you can put your cutting board in the sink, and then you have a damp paper towel just to wipe your area up. You're good as new. Okay, so I'm going to grab my knife, and this is dried beef. I don't know if you've had this before. It is delicious. It's kind of like, it's dried beef, but it's almost like almost like a pepperoni or kind of a dried salami flavor. But this just comes in a little glass jar, and it is near the tuna or some of those things in your grocery store aisle. They're kind of hard to locate. And they come in these big sheets. And this is not scientific or exact. You just need to get a chop on it so that you're not eating these big hunks. So all I do is cut it in half and cut it again. And then rotate my little stack. And then just give it another little chop. Nothing precise, just some bits. And it's just going to go right in here in our cream cheese and our sour cream. So we'll put that over here, and we're going to give all that a really good stir in a few minutes. We'll get our last few things in here. I actually posted this recipe about 2 years ago on my Unimaze blog, and it has been one of the overwhelmingly more popular recipes, and I think you'll really love to make it, so you need to try it. Okay, so we have our beef with our cream cheese. We're going to chop just a couple of green onions, just the green parts. So we've washed these, and I'm gathering those bits together at the very end. And you can do as many or as few green onions as you would like. That is absolutely up to you. We like a lot. I like the flavor. I love the color in this creamy white dip. So we'll scoop these. I needed to get my little scraper. I'll use my hands. In here. And then we've actually got all of our chopping done. Wasn't that easy? All you had to do was cut the onions and chop that beef up a little bit. Okay. And all we're going to add into this is 2 cups of shredded cheese, a little dash of Worcestershire. When we come back, I'm going to show you how we're going to put this in a pan and top it with nuts, yummy chopped pecans, and bake it off. This is cooking today. And we're back. We're making some watch party appetizers today. We have this delicious chipped beef and cheese creamy dip with a little green onion and a dash of Worcestershire in it. And I've topped this with just some the little chipped pecans. You don't have to add that if you don't want. You could just do another little layer of shredded cheese on the top, and we're going to stick it in the oven at 325 for about 30 minutes, 35 minutes. If you're in a rush, you could actually turn the heat up and reduce the cooking time if you would like. I've done that a time or two. So we're just going to stick this pretty little dish with this delicious dip in the oven. And we're making tea. Can you hear the kettle whistling? Okay, so we're going to stick that in there, and my water is hot. And we just cannot go a day around here without drinking sweet tea. It's just a way of life for the Hannon family and anybody who comes to my house. Ask the crew. We drink a gallon of it every single time that we're together. It's good stuff. And believe it or not, there are some tricks to making sweet tea. I'm going to show you how to do it. So I actually just have probably 4 cups of water that have boiled on the stove. And then I have a gallon pitcher. It is not the prettiest pitcher in the world. It kind of breaks my heart, but it's just a good old hard-working guy. It's a plastic one with a good lid. And so what a lot of people do when they make sweet tea is they actually make like a simple syrup, which is kind of a concentrated sugar and hot water mix. I kind of cut a corner real quick and make it this way. So what I'm going to add to my hard-working pitcher is 1 3/4 cup of white sugar. And I just keep that over here. You can certainly decrease the amount of sugar if you would like. That is up to you. You probably could also figure out a good way to do a sugar and artificial sweetener blend if you would rather. So I've just put this in the bottom of my big pitcher, and I'm going to go ahead and pour my hot water right on top. So we're kind of making a simple syrup of sorts because we're getting that hot water in that sugar. A lot of people add their sugar to their tea at the end. We're actually going to we're putting it at the beginning. And that is part of what makes the difference. Really good. It's almost dissolved. So we're just going to give that a stir. Yep. And then I use Lipton's family-sized tea bags. And for a gallon, I use 4. So I'm going to put 4 of them in my pitcher and let these steep. Now here is one of the most important things about making tea. Well, as a matter of fact, let me tell you this. I don't even do the thing where I pop this. I just drop them. I don't think it matters. I just drop them in there. I don't hang them. I just float them. Okay, I'm making sure they're in. One of the things that's really, really important that I was going to tell you is that you don't want to squeeze the tea bags when you're lifting them out. You know, at the end, you're not trying to get all the last little tidbit out. They've done their duty, and the flavor that we want is what's already gone into the hot water. You don't want to squeeze them, and you also don't want this to steep too long because then you get bitter tea. So don't squeeze the tea bags, and then also Be sure to let this steep for only about 10 minutes or so. And then we'll remove those and fill that with ice the rest of the pitcher. And we'll be serving that up with our good appetizers. So we're going to set this aside. Okay, gang, okay, this is a good one. My family loves these. We're going to actually make these pigskin rounds, which I think is perfectly suitable for a football game watching weekend, don't you think? And they're kind of like glorified, newfangled pigs in a blanket. I've never met a soul that doesn't love a pig in a blanket. I don't know about you. They are delicious. So I actually just have 2 of these turkey sausage smoked links, and I prefer the ones that have come cut over the ones that make the horseshoe, because you end up with a funny bend right here at the end that's kind of hard to wrap in the dough. And so if you can find these, then do that. I'm going to just dry these off a little bit so that just that liquid is not on there, and then that will help our dough stick a little bit better. Okay. And what is one of the greatest things ever is this dough that we love that make the little yummy dinner croissants. Comes in sheets now. So if you can find those, oh my word, you don't have to press that little seal together. You know, all the recipes that we've always gotten over the years online and from our moms and our friends in our small group, that where you have to pinch those little seams together and make it a sheet. Well, they finally made it a sheet. Thank you for that. You know who you are. Okay, so we have a sheet of this crescent dough. We're going to unroll these. And look how nice. Move these little guys over. Look, one solid sheet. Isn't it the best? And what I'm going to do with this is take my knife and cut the length of it, well, just kind of right in the half. So you've got 2 halves. And then, this is so easy. I'm going to press this out a little bit to be the length of this sausage. We're going to have a little sticking off the end, but that's okay. And then I'm just going to roll them. And then when we come back, I'm going to have these sliced. I'm going to show you how we make them in the oven. And we're going to make the most fantastic, spicy, sweet honey mustard sauce to dip these in. This is cooking today. Hi, we're back. We're making game day appetizers for your watch party. We have taken the tea bags out of our sweet tea that we let steep for only about 10 minutes or so. And then I just topped off this entire 1-gallon pitcher with ice. And it is cold, and I stirred it up really well. And then this is just going to do its job. You're going to want to be sure before you serve this to give it a good stir, because the ice on the top is going to melt and it's going to taste like a watered down Coke, and we don't want that. So you can just give this a good stir and serve it to your people and drink it whenever you like. We're going to probably sip on it shortly. So this is going to set aside our sweet tea. And then I also have taken out our yummy beef and cheese dip as well. Let me get my mitts and show you. That baked for about 30 minutes or so on 325. And it has gotten melty, and it smells amazing. Really, really good. So we have this delicious dip, and we're going to let this sit for a few minutes. We've increased our oven temperature to 375, and we're going to put our pigskin rounds in the oven. And before I do, I'm going to give them a little dusting of cracked black pepper for a little color, little flavor, with my pepper mill here. And what I did on these is just cut them in probably maybe 1/2-inch slices or so. If you feel like your dough is a little mushy and you're struggling to get a good clean cut on them, those logs that we rolled in the dough, you could put those in the refrigerator or even the freezer for just a few minutes and let it firm up. And it'll actually make slicing that a whole lot easier. So we're going to put these in the 375 oven for only about 10 or 12 minutes. Okay, there we go, 10 or 12 minutes. We need to be watching. So here's our hot dip. Not hot enough to move. And we're going to make this delicious, spicy, brown honey mustard sauce. I actually make this for lots of things. My family dips. We dip everything we eat. Pizza crust, breadsticks, meat. I mean, we just love a little something extra on the side. So I've probably mastered a lot of different little dips over the years because we always have, that's just one of our favorite little bites. I know y'all are dippers. We've talked about it on Instagram. Some of y'all have told me about it. Okay, I am gonna get a spoon and a fork to mix. Okay, so all I have here is a spicy brown mustard, one of my favorites. I like it a little bit better than the yellow mustard for something like this. It's got great flavor and the color, and there's a little texture in a spicy brown. So I'm going to do equal parts brown mustard, spicy brown mustard, and honey. If you need to make gobs and gobs of this, then you can do like a half a cup to a half a cup. Make a whole cup worth. I'm just going to do a little bit for today. So I'm going to say probably like, I don't know, quarter cup or so. I'm just going to eyeball that. And then honey. My jar's a little sticky. We need to wipe that off. Okay, so here we go on our honey. Oh, I love honey. I use it a lot. It's such a good sweetener, and it's good for you. Just eat a spoonful for your allergies. And then a dash of Worcestershire, a little bit, not much, maybe a teaspoon or so. And then you can use ground cayenne if you would like, which is actually like red pepper flakes that are all ground up into a powder. I just love the flake and the look and that bite of red pepper in the flake form. So I'm going to do a few shakes of the red pepper. And you know how I feel about red pepper. And you also probably know how I feel about adding seasoning, something like this. Go easy at first. You can always add it later. But once you put it in there, there's no going back. So we have got an easy, little, delicious, sweet and spicy honey mustard sauce that we're going to serve with our pigskin rounds. And then if you have any of this left over, you could actually jar this. Like I said, you could double this up and make tons more if you like it. It's great on salads and beside meat, whatever you like. You could actually put it in a mason jar and stick it in your fridge and keep it just like you would a salad dressing and pull it out whenever you needed it. Okay, I'm going to taste it. Oh my goodness. Y'all are going to love that. You are going to love that. It is it's like sweet right away, and then it kind of goes in waves, like sweet first, then kind of mustardy, and then you get the heat at the end. So it's like quite a thing. Okay, so we have our mustard sauce ready to go. The dip is all set. We're going to take out our pigskin rounds and make one more really fun, crazy simple dip, and we're going to serve our watch party spread. This is Cooking Today. We are wrapping up our day making watch party snacks. We have our delicious, hot, melty, cheesy, creamy beef dip that we've taken out of the oven, and it is delicious and so good. Eat it with a spoon. We also have pulled our pigskin rounds out of the oven, and we baked those at 375 for about 10 or 12 minutes till the edges start to get nice and golden brown. They smell fantastic. We're going to nibble those here pretty quick. And then, this is going to take an awful lot of skill, so y'all need to get psyched up for this. This is our #1 bestseller at Unimaze, probably our hands-down favorite dip of all time at my house. It is red pepper jelly. You just cannot get more southern than a red pepper jelly dip poured right over cream cheese. It's the easiest thing to take to somebody's house, like if you just have to run and want to have a little something to put on the counter. And for you to have this in your fridge and a block of cream cheese, which stays forever in your refrigerator, for a long time anyway. This is the best, quickest, last second crowd pleaser to pull out and put on the counter when somebody surprises you or you come in late and you need a little bite of something. Just ask my boys. My family loves this. So what I'm going to do, you ready for this? This is a tough one. We have room temperature cream cheese. And then we're just going to pour red pepper jelly right over it. Look at the color. Isn't that pretty? People ask me if it's too hot or if it's too sweet, and the answer is no to both. It is perfection. It's perfection in a glass jar. You're going to love this. Okay, And that's about it. You can save a little bit more to kind of top it off and freshen up that block as people start to kind of nibble on it. What I like to do is have all of my appetizers kind of gathered together on a neat board. So this is one of my big serving boards. And I just like to kind of set it up where it kind of, the board groups it, makes it kind of cozy, and looks like one big serving platter for all of these different little pieces. So I've got my red pepper jelly right there, and I serve this with just like thin wheat crackers. You could do it with like a little wafer cracker if you would like. So I'm going to set those there. And then we have our yummy honey mustard spicy dip that we made. And I'm going to put this, I'm going to set that in the middle. Actually, I'm not. I'm going to set that over here. Kind of divide these up. Here's our big spoon for our dip. And a little spoon for that sauce. Oh, that one's delicious. And then here are the crackers for our dip, our red pepper jelly dip. And then just kind of for fun, so it doesn't look too stuffy, I'm just going to set these little guys all around on the board, just on the board themselves. Right there. And it's just a little bit kind of casual, and people can kind of walk up and grab the one they want and nibble a little. It can go on the coffee table. It can stay on your island. Set these around. And we're going to finish filling out this beautiful appetizer board for you. What a pretty little watch party snack we've got going on. I hope you'll enjoy these. Make them at home. You'll love every bite. This is Cooking Today.
Iced tea, sponsored by Lipton. Kitchenware is provided by Una Mays.